Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. Now, despite last week was like a short week, I had to work on Saturday, and it just felt like a very long week. I was quite busy, and when I finally found my off day on Sunday, it was time to go check out a movie I've been dying to see since it was announced, and was frustrated that I hadn't seen it until Sunday, but I wanted to rewatch the first two, and I went one, two, right into three on Sunday, watching all of them back to back to back, and it was marvelous. Oh, this one did not let me down at all. So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free on How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. Oh, man, dude, this movie was just awesome. It's so hard to say goodbye sometimes, and this movie was certainly hard. It'll be hard to say goodbye to this series knowing that there isn't anything coming after, at least that we know for now. What a wonderful way to say goodbye. It was so good, and I had super, super high expectations, man, because I love How to Train Your Dragon. And even though I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 comes in just below that, the animation improved in that one. We added new characters that I loved. Kit Harington's Eret is, I was such a fan of his in the second one, as I was with Kate Blanchett's Valka, and just adding on to the story, everything is just so good. And like I said, to kind of conclude this series and say goodbye, they do it in just such a marvelous, marvelous way. And it starts with the animation. It was unbelievable. There's a stretch in this movie where they get to the hidden world, and it's like Avatar for animation. I just sat there, I was like, whoa, like this is insane, dude. So good. And what's great about all the animation right now, you remember like last year we had, Incredibles 2, which blew my mind. Some of the best stuff I've seen from Pixar in years. And then you had, Into the Spider-Verse, which just blew everybody's minds in the amount of different styles of animation and mixtures of things to create something just so unique and impressive and beautiful. Heck, it won the Oscar on Sunday, as it should have, along with an unbelievable story. That whole thing was just fantastic. And the same, with Incredibles. That story is so good also. And now you get to How to Train Your Dragon, Hidden World. And it ups the game, man. Like, all of these movies just keep upping the game, and it is so, so good for the animated world because it is turning out fantastic products. Here, again, story unbelievable. And such a perfect way to send this movie off. But when you look at the animation, although I'm sure some people will say, Incredibles 2 is still better. It's right on par with it. And like I said, that stretch where they go to the hidden world, the colors and the way things light up and the way they use all of that, just beautiful. I mean, this whole movie is. And I absolutely love just following Toothless and his little, relationship kind of flirtation with the Light Fury. It was just wonderful. Every time those two were on screen, even though nobody's talking, you're just watching them interact with each other. It was beautiful. Such a beautiful story that's kind of told between these two things, but just watching them and visually, it's stunning. And again, we learn new things about Toothless and the things that we get with him. Super, super cool. And just that whole storyline, I love that. Then mix in, our cast that is just absolutely phenomenal. Starring, of course, Jay Baruchel as Hiccup. And what's cool is, like, you just see the animation improving. Like, he had the whiskers in 2. It's even more, realistic in this one. It crazy. And I loved his storyline, man. The way, he kind of has to come to terms with what's going on with Hiccup, and also having to save his entire people. It does feel like it rips off of Thor Ragnarok a little bit, but it totally works for the storyline. And when you get a villain like Grimmel, played by F. Murray Abraham, oh my gosh, he was so good, and the perfect counter to Jay Baruchel and his crew. But like I said, man, Baruchel's so good, and the stuff they did with his character this time, just visually, like when he has the light up, sword flame, so good, and the way he has to think and try to outsmart Grimmel, it was fun to watch because Grimmel is, he's like Trinity in season 4 of Dexter for Dexter here. Like, he just is always 3-4 steps ahead of Hiccup, and watching him have to figure that out in order to save his people and the dragons, as Grimmel is a dragon hunter, and his storyline is really good. You understand why he doesn't like dragons. They kind of has a monologue, and F. Murray Abraham is just fantastic. He's creepy when he needs to be. He's super smart. And the way that story plays out, it's cool. It's like watching a chess match. And I just loved, what they did with Hiccup and Grimmel. And the voice acting just so good. But also, mixed into all of that, there is this storyline, of course, with Hiccup and his girl, Astrid, voiced by America Ferrara, and I love that storyline too, man. Everything in this movie just progresses in a way where it opens up everything for, the Vikings and the dragons, and the way that story kind of fleshes out, that angle kind of really comes to life with Astrid, and I loved watching, her and Baruchel figure things out toward the end of the movie, and the way kind of all that goes. And you have to get the mom tips from Miss Kate Blanchett as Valka. Not a ton for her to do this time. There's a lot of characters and a lot of people get a lot of play, and it works really, really well. I think everybody shared the screen time quite well. But when Valka's on screen, you really enjoy her. She's got a little funny kind of relationship going on with Jonah Hill's Snotlout and Kit Harington's Eret that is quite entertaining to watch the two of them kind of try to play their own chess match, with Valka, who kind of leads them on, but only kind of, I think, really to cultivate, good ideas. And the way things play out there, I enjoyed that storyline. We get a wonderful series of flashbacks to advance Hiccup's character with Stoic. So Gerard Butler is back, and I loved all that stuff. Like I said, the storyline is just so strong, and every character kind of enhances to building all around what's going on for Hiccup as he takes kind of the next step in his story. I love this cast so much. Gobber Bag, of course, played by Craig Ferguson. Really enjoy him, and he ties a ton of humor, and this little dragon that is constantly following him around, that plays with your head. Like, you wonder, is he seeing things? Is he not seeing things? And I just love that, and Craig Ferguson's so funny. And the humor in this movie is fantastic. And two people who get a lot of play in this movie are Rough Nut and Tough Nut. Kristen Wiig back, of course, as Rough Nut, and she has a stretch where she's with Grimmel that is hysterical, and it is nonstop. She is just chopping it up, and it is so funny. And then her brother Tough Nut, no longer played by T.J. Miller, but rather Justin Ruppel doing his best T.J. Miller impression. There were times where I actually was like, I know it's not T.J. Miller, but man, he's definitely doing the voice in a way where it sounds like it's grown up a little bit more, and it works. And he's got this thing with beards that's hysterical, and there was a lot more of them. Tough Nut's constantly trying to give Hiccup like life advice, and all that stuff is just really funny. So when you mix in the humor with the emotional beats and this wonderful story that says goodbye to a franchise that I absolutely love, and mixing in your best villain yet, I really, really did love what they did with Grimmel and how smart he is, and just it really made Hiccup have to become the chief. He kind of has to do it after Stoic dies in 2. But here, watching him fully become that by the end of the movie, so cool. And then the tack on toward the end of the movie. The whole end of the movie, a lot of these, man, like there's a bit where you see Hiccup kind of rolls a tear, and it just kind of stays on his face, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, my face is doing the same thing. But it was so beautiful, and the way it actually ultimately says goodbye right at the end, it warms your heart, and this is just such a wonderful family franchise that plays so well for kids and adults, and I really thought that DreamWorks just crushed this one. So good. Right up there with the other two. This did not disappoint me at all. If anything, it may have impressed me more than I thought it would. So there you go, man. Those are all my non-spoiler thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. I absolutely love this. I thought it was the perfect way to say goodbye. But now I want to know what you're thinking, man. Did you got out to see the movie yet over the weekend? If you haven't, let me know what you're thinking. What did you like and not like about the movie? Did it meet your expectations? If you haven't seen it, Have the Scene Man enticed you? I hope I have, man. This movie, like I said, if you like this series, you're going to be very, very happy. So leave me all your thoughts down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, man. Come join the Cinema Sit Down Squad. And then hit that little bell so you get alerts every time I make a new video. For the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I'm the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Well, you guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down Squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.